Jake, I'm glad you're here. Did you hear? Mark Moriarty found some old bones near his fort. Dr. Knox thinks it may be a big scientific discovery.
You know, this sounds to me like another of Mark's tricks. But you never know. Let's go check it out. All the kids think that Mark is cool, now that he's found an ancient skeleton. Let's hear what he has to say about these baffling bones.
Come to see the bones I found? The police and Dr. Knox roped off the area. It's a really major discovery. This makes my fort the most awesome clubhouse in town. I guess I still might let you guys join my club, though. I saw the bones this morning as I was pulling weeds around my fort. I realized that I have to keep the area clear so spies can't creep up on me in the tall grass. That skeleton was there all along, and I never knew it. I called the police, and they brought in Dr. Knox, the dentist. He's an amateur archaeologist in his spare time. He says the bones are probably really old. Hey, I bet they'll name this site the Moriarty Discovery.
Mr. Arnold's house is right next to the lot where the bones were found. In fact, from here it looks like some plants in his garden are actually growing in the vacant lot next door. Maybe he saw something.
Hey kids, stay away from my bean plants. County fair's in 2 weeks, and I expect those beans to win first place.
Sorry, Mr. Arnold. We'll watch out for your beans. We're investigating the bones that they found over in the vacant lot. Do you know anything about them?
Bones, eh? I wondered what all the hubbub was about. No, I haven't seen anything but that Mark Moriarty skulking around. I'd better stop complaining about all the fuss. Mrs. Arnold loves to read about the discovery of old things. She'll be thrilled to hear about these bones.
Maybe we can find out more about those bones here in the library.
Hello, Jake. Mrs. Arnold and I just got back from a conference, and my son Bobby told me what Mark found. If it's true, it could bring many archaeologists to Richview. They might be digging here for years. And they may have to tear down Mark's fort to do the research. Too bad.
That would be too bad for Mark. But he built his fort on someone else's property. Sometimes that can lead to problems. Mr. Green, the bank manager, looks like he's really worried about something.
Hello, children. I'm afraid I don't have much time to talk. Some old bones have been found on property where we were about to build apartments for seniors. Since scientists need to study what was found, I must stop work on the project for now. Things were delayed already because I agreed to help out some of the neighbors. I let Mr. Arnold have 2 extra weeks to harvest the vegetables he's been growing on the lot, and I promised Mark Moriarty we would even help him move his fort. I know it was right to give Mr. Arnold and Mark some more time, And I have no doubts about how important it is to give time to the scientists to study the area. But the delays are costing me thousands of dollars. I tell you something else. I think these bones are fakes, planted by someone to delay construction on the apartments. You never know what lengths people will go to stop progress. If I can prove the skeleton isn't real, we're going to bulldoze everything but the beans and fort tomorrow.
Let's get the official police report from Chief Barnes.
Curious about Mark Moriarty's bones, eh? I'm not surprised. Well, we faxed a photo of the skeleton to the state capitol, and we just got an answer back. The experts confirmed what Dr. Knox told us. If the bones are real, it's a pretty big find. But we won't know for sure until the scientists get here next week. Until then, we've asked Mr. Green not to use his bulldozers to clear the lot and build the new apartments for seniors. We need to preserve the site for the scientists.
As usual, Mrs. Arnold is working here at the Richview Historical Society. And look, there's Dr. Knox, the dentist, flipping through a scientific magazine.
This skeleton will really put Richview on the map. If they're real, that is. I'm still trying to figure that out. The experts from the state capitol will come down to do some tests. We'll know the results in 2 weeks. Then we'll know for sure if the bones are the real thing. One thing I know for sure, those bones have been in that vacant lot for quite a while. The dirt around the skeleton was packed solid, the way soil gets after many, many winters. If the bones had been newly buried, the soil around them would have been much looser. The bones sure look like a real Ice Age human skeleton. That would make them about 10,000 years old. They're accurate in every detail. No one has ever found them around here before. Now, the skeleton could be a museum replica, a copy made for museums to display and for scientists to study. But this issue of Sacred Artifacts says there are no Ice Age skeletons available.
My, isn't this exciting? I've just returned from a 2-day conference about state history. Now Dr. Knox tells me that we may have an important archaeological site right next to my house. Dr. Knox is here doing some research about the bones. He likes to read Sacred Artifacts, the archaeology magazine. In fact, I've just brought the newest edition for him from home. Won't Mr. Arnold be amazed about the find? I must tell him to look carefully in his garden. It's only a few feet from where the skeleton was found. If he finds any new bones, they should not be disturbed. Archaeologists can learn so much more from ancient artifacts when the area that surrounds them has not been interfered with.
Let's organize the evidence we've dug up. Choose the 4 clues that you think will best expose the secret of the baffling bones. You dug up the right clues. Are the bones for real? If they are, choose the picture of the bones on the next screen. If they're fakes, point out the person who you think is pulling a fast one. You're right. No one had any reason to fake this discovery. These bones are for real. Let's check the evidence. At first we thought the bones might be fakes, but who would take the trouble to buy a fake skeleton and bury it in a field? We thought that Mark Moriarty might have planted the bones next to his fort, so Mr. Green's bulldozers wouldn't tear it down. Maybe Mr. Arnold wanted to delay the bulldozers to save the prize-winning bean plants he was growing in the vacant lot. If the lot were cleared, the beans would be destroyed before they could ripen and compete in the county fair. But Mr. Green told us he already planned to let Mr. Arnold finish the harvest in his garden. And he said he'd even help Mark Moriarty move his fort. Neither of them had any reason to plant a fake skeleton on the lot. Dr. Knox identified the bones as a skeleton from the Ice Age, which would make them about 10,000 years old. Dr. Knox noticed that the bones were encased in hard ground. He said that it takes time for soil to be packed down like that, so we knew that no one had buried the bones there in the last few days. We saw the bones were stained and discolored, just like real buried bones in the archaeology book. And the archaeology magazine showed us that copies of Ice Age skeletons like this one aren't being made for schools and museums. Mark Moriarty told the truth. No one is trying to stop Mr. Green's project. The baffling bones are real.